Hey y'all, it's Angie from the blog Our Contented Home. Welcome back to my channel. So this is day 2 of my 12 Days of Christmas video series. And if you have not seen the first video, I will put the playlist in the description below so that you can go and see that from the beginning. But today we are doing air dry clay ornaments. This is something I've wanted to do for a while, so I included it into my 12 Days of Christmas DIYs. So I hope you enjoy it. For this DIY, I'm using Crayola air dry clay. I picked this up from Hobby Lobby, but you can get it from most any craft store. I'm also using a doily, letter stamps, paint markers, something round to cut my clay, and a rolling pin. I also use an X-Acto knife later on in the video, so you might want to have one of those on hand. This is what the clay looks like when you open the container, and it has a wet consistency, so you want to get out the amount you're going to use and then close it back up because it will dry out on you. So make sure you keep it sealed. And I just pull out enough, a handful, and this is just trial and error on how much you need. But I just shaped it into a ball. And I just kept shaping it until I was happy with the shape of it. And then I just put it onto my cutting board and I flattened it out. And then I took my rolling pin to help me keep it flattened. And if you don't flatten it out thin, then it will curl up on the edges when you dry it. I had several that curled up on the edges, which is fine, but I think they look better if they're completely flat. Then I took this jar lid that I had gotten at Dollar Tree, and I just went around and just cut circles into my clay. And then after you've got the circle cut, you just pull the excess clay away. And then you're left with this little circle. And this one is probably a little bit thicker than it should be. But as I go on, I learned to get them a little bit thinner. And then I decided to take an X-Acto knife and just cut around this jar lid. And this worked so much better for me. It made them a little bit smoother around the edges. And so I just continued to use the X-Acto knife. And then I just got creative with it. I took this doily that I had and I just pressed it into the clay. And so it just makes different patterns and shapes. And I really like the look of it. You can just get creative and use whatever you have on hand, or you could just leave them plain. They're just beautiful any way you do them. But I just kept on cutting shapes out of this clay, and you could do other shapes besides round. I just like the round for my Christmas tree ornaments. And then I just kept on using up the clay until I had the desired amount of round clay ornaments. So when you roll this clay out, sometimes it has a tendency to crack. And if it does that, just take a little water, put it on your finger, and just rub it on your clay. And it'll seal those cracks right up and be perfect. You might want to leave them in there, and it just adds to the imperfections of these ornaments. But I just sealed them up. And I may do some and just have the imperfections and see how I like that. But for now, I like them sealed up. I just continue using these doilies. I like the texture that it adds to them. And I think these would be pretty just doing this, just having a whole set with this look on it. For the next part, I decided to get out my letter stamps, and I just spelled out the word Mary. And this takes a little practice to get the letters lined up and to learn how to use the right amount of pressure on your ornament. But this would be so much fun. Just think about stamping different names of your family members and hanging it on their stockings, or you could stamp their names on these ornaments and just put them on gifts so that it would be a keepsake. Plus, you could tell which gift belonged to who, and you could just do so many fun things with these ornaments. If you've got any good ideas, leave them in the comments below, because I plan to make more of these ornaments, and I would love to hear your ideas on things that you think of that you can do to these. After I was finished with all my embellishments, I just took a bamboo skewer and poked a hole in the top of my ornaments, and this is just for my ribbon or twine that I string on these to hang them from the Christmas tree. Then you put them aside for 3 days and let them dry, and then after they're all dry, I took this glitter blast and just sprayed it on all of my little ornaments. You don't have to do this step, you could leave them plain, but I wanted to give them that shine and twinkle for Christmas. And then I sealed it all in with this clear glaze. This just makes sure that you don't get glitter everywhere. And then you put that aside for 24 hours, and then you're ready to string your ribbon. Now when you make your hole with your skewer, make sure that you're making it big enough for the ribbon that you're using. I was limited to this ribbon because I didn't make my hole big enough for the velvet ribbon that I wanted to use, but I think this ribbon looks fine with it. And then you just thread it through the hole on the ornament, and then just tie a little knot at the end, and you're all done. I hope you enjoyed that video, and if you plan on making these ornaments, leave me a comment below and let me know how they turn out. They're so much fun, and I plan to make more of these and maybe give them as gifts, or like I said in my video, use them as names on my gifts, and they're just so much fun to make. If you don't like the part where you have to wait so long for them to dry, you can also get the kind of clay that you bake, and so that'll speed up the process if you want to make these and you don't have enough time. So there's an option for you that might work better than this, but I really like the air dry clay if you have enough time to wait on it. Thank y'all so much for watching this video, and I'll be back for day 3 with another 12 days of Christmas, so I'll see y'all then. Have a great day.